Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Well, happy Monday evening. It's not often that I come around and do a second video of the day. Obviously, this is the preview to the third round of I call it the League Cup. It's the Carabao or EFL Cup or something like that. I call it the League Cup. I'm old fashioned. I'm old school like that. It's the Carling Cup if you're a fan back in '08, that's for sure. But we're going to be doing the preview for the Coventry game. I've actually spent a little bit of the afternoon rewatching some of the Coventry games that have happened this season, just so I have a bit of an idea as to where maybe you can get at them or they can get at you. So there's plenty to talk about in this preview. I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, it's the first cup preview of the season. Just want to say, if you're watching this and you're new, subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. Even Spurs, mate. Even Tottenham. Time to look forward, not to the past. Exactly. I agree, Tottenham. Rec, I'm good. How are you, my friend? Hey, Les, mate. How are we as well? So, yeah, some really good stuff in here. So I've got notes of what I've taken down of every single game that they've played this season. Like I said, I've watched every game they've played this season. Somewhat did my research for once into a preview instead of going, oh, they play nice football and they can press and stuff like that. I feel like I've actually come here with some knowledge for once, which is quite nice. It's rare, but it's nice. Hey, Matty, mate, how are you? Also want to say he might not be, excuse me. He may not be watching right this second, but I will say shout out to Scott, who became a member of the channel. Really appreciate that, mate. Obviously, it's not for everyone, I know, but shout out the people that do become members. I will always shout them out. So thank you, Scott, for coming out. And we'll make sure there's some stuff coming out for the members this week as well. Spurs has to win 4-0 or more to make sure that I enjoy watching Spurs again. Ooh, bloody hell. Hey, Ted, mate, how are you? So look, Coventry City, league below in the Championship, a team that last season in the FA Cup had a bit of a magical run, and they were about this close to going to the final. It was a fluky little offside, and Man United obviously get through in the end. And there's always that part of you that goes, oh, away from home, Championship side, they're going to be up for it. You know, it's not a late night fixture, but it's an evening fixture that, you know, obviously teams are always going to be up for it. It's one of the big boys, you know. So whenever you play one of the big boys, you're always up for it. Even if you're a big boy and you play a big boy, you're always up for it. So what it must feel like for a team that's in a league below or below that, it must be absolutely incredible, you know. So when I was watching Coventry this season, I've been watching all their games. I watched the cup games. I watched the championship games. Ironically, they played two teams twice, which was quite nice. I think that was a really nice thing. That I think whenever you play someone twice in quite a short space of time, you sort of know a lot more about them when it comes to the second time around. So this season, when I was looking at their fixtures, this season they started with a 1-0 away loss to Stoke City. They then won 1-0 away to Bristol City in the first round of the EFL Cup. They won 3-2 at home to Oxford United, drew 1-0 away to Bristol City. They then beat Oxford United in the second round of the EFL Cup. So I only played them 11 days later from the Championship. They then lost 1-0 at home to Norwich City and drawing 1-1 with Watford away. So they're sitting in 14th, which is, you know, mid-table basically in the Championship, having won 1, drawn 2, lost 2, and in 5 games they've scored 5. Scored 5 and conceded 6. So a point a game at the moment. So maybe not the strongest start, but obviously very early on. And you know, in the Championship, there's 46 games to go. There's 46 games to play this season. So there's plenty of time to make up ground on people. We all know that. I'm glad that we don't have to wait long for our next game, so we aren't depressed until next weekend. True. That's not a bad idea, mate. That isn't a bad thing to be saying. Sometimes the best thing to get over a loss is to win a game very quickly afterwards. How different are the Coventry who are playing and the Coventry that almost beat United? Well, I think with the United one, it was the magical run. It doesn't happen very often for teams in lower leagues. Magical runs happen and things swing your way, things don't swing your way. But this season, not the strongest of starts for Coventry. Andy, we can't afford to field a weakened team. Burvo, Dragosian, Gray, Spence, Odebear must play. Robert, I agree. Ellie seems scary, doesn't it? Yeah, I did notice Sims quite a lot on a lot of the things that I noticed. Sims was one of them, and I just want to get the exact name of the other guy because I don't want to do any player any disservice. I just want to make sure I got him. I didn't play in the last game. That doesn't help me. Bear with me. There was a game that he did play, and he was incredible. And I think he played last season as well for them against Man United. Let's go to the game they scored goals in. This will help me because they absolutely battered Oxford with shots and things like that. I think it Radoni that gave me a pause. Was still a pause. Casey Palmer. Sorry, that's it. Casey Palmer. That was the one that I noticed. A lot of the highlights. Casey Palmer was one of those guys. We're a top 8 Prem side. We should beat them 4 goals or more. Hopefully so. Hey, Bazza, how are you, mate? Good tweet earlier. Mate, shout out for the people that I was tweeting a little bit earlier today, and shout out the people that did respond to the tweets. It was good to finally have some conversation on Twitter that didn't make me want to slam my head against the wall. What do I think of Okafor news? I haven't seen it, mate. I haven't seen it. Our season starts now. Ooh. Hadji right as well. Yep, good shout. Did you hear about Alkmaar winning 9-1 4 goals for Parrot? Yeah, the biggest loss in Eredivisie history for Robin van Persie. You hate to see it. So look, moving on to a little bit of the things that I sort of noticed on Coventry, because I got a lot. So there's a lot of reoccurring themes. So when they played Stoke, they lost 1-0. I noticed they had a really hard time defending crosses and set pieces. And that was a really common theme about all of their games. It was either defending a set piece on the first phase, or a lot of times was they struggled on the second phase. So they might clear the corner or the free kick, but the next ball in, that's where they had their issues. So maybe a little bit of lapsing in defensive sort of situational awareness, and obviously just being a bit more clued on. So when they beat Bristol City in the Cup, I noticed that set pieces again, passes in behind the fullbacks as well. So when you look at Porros or Doggies, if they were to be sort of they're actually underlapping behind the fullbacks, they would have a lot of success on that. So the wide areas I noticed was a key thing. So obviously where our strength should be in the Ange ball system is in the wingers situation, where we ask our wingers to get balls into the box. We should have success there. But I also noticed for them, dynamic runners from the midfield. That was a really big thing. They press well, they win the ball high, and they're direct with how they run. So that was another key thing. When they played Oxford, they won 3-2. I noticed their pace down the wings. So if we are caught out of position, they could, in theory, punish us from there. Set pieces, again, was an issue for them defensively, mostly from the second phase of the set piece. They also have no worries about shooting on sight. They will shoot from every angle, which I think at times is great. And then I think at times I was watching some of those games, they really did miss not making that final pass, and instead they were just shooting. But yeah, defending in the wing of the situation was an issue for them, and back post chances was a key thing in that game. The Bristol 1-1 away draw. They left holes in behind. They left holes in behind the midfield and before the back line. So where you might find a Kulusevski or a Bergvall even, they will find gaps in space in there. Balls in behind the centre back. So if you had someone running in behind, they should get. They do defend quite high at times. Set piece defending on the second phase again. Pacing behind is big for them though. So as much as I was like direct running, pacing behind, they're a very quick team, Coventry. The 1-0 win at home to Oxford in the Cup, they were shooting on sight again, not afraid to pull the trigger from distance. Pacing behind, again, though, crosses and set pieces and defending the second phases, they are weak on that. Losing 1-0 at home to Norwich, I notice, again, lots of pace, lots of able to beat a player, lots of balls in behind to their attackers, but sometimes not picking the right passes, though, when they are breaking and they don't make the right pass. They don't make the final right decision is a key thing there. But defending crosses, balls in behind for them were causing issues. They press high, and if it doesn't work, they get punished on the receiving end. And then against Watford, the 1-1 draw, their pace is really evident in this game, but the decision-making again was questionable. They play the balls down. You can play balls against them. You can play balls down the wing with relative ease, and they have issues when it comes to defending crosses. Watford scored from a winger beating a defender and just flashing a low cross against the 6-yard box, and the striker just tapped it in. Timo Werner-esque, I guess you could say. That's going to wind people up. which I'm looking forward to seeing that. But yeah, I think looking at that, doing the research I have at Tavares 2, those 3 attackers kill us on the counter. Our high line can be suicide, especially if Mickey isn't playing. Coventry may beat us. The players has to show their quality in this game. High line isn't the problem if the midfield and attack finish. Chances agreed. Is Richie back or still injured? If he is, and Lancashire isn't, he should get minutes. Well, Lancashire, I'm not sure about yet, but I still think he might be injured. He'd be close. I think Richie's not far off being back, but again, not 100% fit. I hate saying if we score more goals and then we all win. It's an old school saying, is it not? If you score more goals than your opposition, you'll win the game. It's Michael Owen's finest. Front line of Odobert, Solanke, Johnson might be our closest implementation of Angeball. Angeball functions with the best 2 touchline wingers. Interesting. Coventry will be at the English team. Not sure what you mean by that, Thomas. If we get a Swiss player, get Ndoye, absolute perfect fit for us. Dribbly, fast-paced, cheap, and extreme versatile. He's usually on the left, but can randomly pop up on the right and also be good. Interesting that, Teddy. Sorry, I thought I saw something. Interesting that. Angeball doesn't make sense and is a stupid philosophy. He's naive. Well, I personally disagree, mate. He does have tactics. Do you think Romero stay? It's too early to say on that one, mate. There's no one to come in. Maybe Tuchel, but it'll be risky. Well, Tuchel doesn't fix anything. It's another win now manager, and it's not worked the other 2 times we've done it. It'll be close. Oh, Lucas, are you a Coventry City fan by any chance? I saw the CCFC. I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but are you a Coventry City fan? Let me know, because I'm going to ask you some questions, Lucas. Also, welcome, Lucas, by the way. Not digging. I'm not calling Coventry City the worst team in football or anything like that. I was just saying there's things where I think Spurs might get you, and I think there's things where I think you might get us. And I think they're actually quite similar. Crossing and set pieces defending, where you might get us and we might get you. And secondly, pace. That's what you guys have, and it's what we guys don't seem to really struggle too much with at times. And I think it'd be interesting how they balance. So you are a Coventry City fan. Well, welcome, Lucas. Welcome, mate. I know it's not obviously a Coventry City Mark Robbins fan page, but I watched all your games this season, Lucas, and I kind of noticed quite a few things. That set piece and crosses defending at times wasn't bad, but what I noticed was mostly actually the second phase of that defending is where you guys struggled quite a lot. Which I think maybe is that just could be a lapse in momentary, focus and things like that. Which you get. You're a human. You're a footballer, but you're a human. You're allowed to make mistakes. But something that I noticed with all the games, there's a lot of chances being created from the second phases and set pieces. But I also noticed even like sometimes not being switched on to like the short corners and the short free kicks. Sometimes not a lot comes from them, but I noticed that at times maybe weren't switched on for that. Which again, similar to Spurs, I won't lie, mate. It seems like he doesn't want to. It's like with Gio, perfect fit for Argentina, but not for Spurs. I don't know about that, mate. Our main problems at the moment is that Solanke didn't train with the first team during pre-season, and he'll get better with that. He will get better, Solanke. I've no issues with him. We're on and off our set pieces. Interesting. It's always nice to speak. It's always nice to speak to someone who's sort of in the know when it comes to their teams that maybe I don't know enough about. And I'm not going to. I don't watch Coventry week in, week out. I bet Lucas doesn't watch Spurs week in, week out. I don't know enough. Lucas, can you tell me if there's any like Coventry City like fan pages that do YouTube or anything? Put them in there. I want to have a see. Maybe I'll have a chat with them. I'm really happy about this game because we bring back one of our own, James Maddison. You are right, Lucas. Yes, James Maddison, a young James Maddison played at Coventry City. We need DM and 2 elite wingers. I think let's see what Odobert gives us. And I still think Mikey Moore can become that as well. A DM, it depends with DM because we don't ask our DMs to do similar things that other DMs do. I mean, when you look at the game yesterday, I think Basuma was a key thing where Basuma would have been absolutely incredible yesterday. And I think it would have been a game changer. I genuinely do believe that. I know Basuma's not the flavour of the month when it comes to some fans, but genuinely just thought beating players, the ability to dribble with the ball, take the ball off the back line. Those things, I think he would have been really big yesterday. How much should we rotate for this game? I don't think we should massively rotate because I think people had the issue last season when we played Fulham in the second round that we rotated obviously 10 players. Mickey, think it was 9 or 10 players. Mickey was obviously in the team, obviously scored an own goal in that game, I believe. And people killed Ange for that. But I think there will be some changes because obviously, again, we play on Saturday, so we're not going to have players playing 3 games in a week. I think Saturday you'll see maybe the team or similar to the team that played yesterday. I think you'll but I think you'll see some changes. I'm going to go through my changes in a minute, to be fair. I do believe in Ange. Yes. Solanke needs to run games. Yes. But again, there's a lot of games coming up and I don't want to burn him out. I take a penalty win and a slightly higher energy price. Jesus. All things sky blue. Oh, hang on. Let me just note that down in my phone. All things sky blue. Are they good, Lucas? By any chance? I'm gonna. I don't know you, Lucas, but I'm relying on you a little bit this video. All things sky blue. Have a look at them. Quality. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. You'll notice, Lucas, we're not a miserable bunch in this community, so you're not going to be kicked out of here because you're a Coventry fan, I promise, mate. Have you seen that news shows a goal and assist in 80 minutes of Bundesliga? Yeah, well, Leipzig screwed me on the bets on the weekend, but they're doing right. I'm a Spurs fan. Do you think the Spurs manager fielded an understrength team against Coventry City on Wednesday? I think Will, if you're new, welcome, by the way. I think he will rotate. I think some players that played yesterday will play in this game. You'll see what I mean in a sec. This is good, but if Spurs want to win, we need better. Andy, again, we can't improve every position in 3 windows. There's a lot that still needs to happen. Andy, I look at what Nuno's given Villa, and I think what he could have done for us, absolutely rocked to front of their back 4. He was naff against Everton. I won't lie, mate. I watched the game. He got bullied in their midfield. He was at fault for a couple of their goals as well. He is good, though. I won't lie. Johnson from the bench is a good sub, but as a starter, just looks bad most of the time. Jesus, Rex on one today. I just hope things go well for us when we need it. Absolutely, Griffin. Hey, Ivan, mate, how are you? How are you, mate? So, look, coming into this topic, I want to talk about this before I give my team news. Is it a must-win game? And, well, the answer is obviously going to be yes, okay? And for a few different reasons. One, obviously, it's a cup that you can win. You know, for Coventry City, you could say it's a must-win game. Yeah, it's a cup game. Yeah, I mean, they Coventry play, ignore me. Coventry at the weekend, they play Swansea City at home. Technically not a must-win game, right? But they will view it like every game is a must-win game, right? And that's the way Ange wants our fans to approach it. So, yeah, I will agree with Ange. It's a must-win game. Puts pressure on him a little bit more, I can say that. But the key thing with this game is keep the performance level high, be ruthless in front of goal. Because I think Everton, we were a little bit more ruthless, but we could have been even more ruthless. The other 2 games, we have coughed up our chances. So that's a key thing. But for me, financially, it's not a must-win game because the League Cup has never been one where you make a lot of money in. It never is. It's really odd. There's no money in the League Cup. The FA Cup gives you money, but I think one European game makes more money for Spurs than winning the League Cup, which find that being bonkers. But at the same time, I think for Ange, for the fan base, for the mentality, for the toxicity, it is a must-win. I think people are on the ledge and people are screaming and shouting at the birds. A win would bring them back down to earth in a good way. Tottenham fans are okay, mate. A nice bunch. Well, Lucas, you're always welcome. If you ever want to watch the channel, the videos, you're always welcome to join us, my friends. Recall that, there you go, Rex giving you a shout as well, Lucas, there. Recall that in pre-season, we often looked better when the players we talking about playing against Coventry came on. Well, I want to talk about those guys. Can perform versus Prem teams, Man United, Wolves, Everton, and versus Prem quality teams like Burnley and Leeds, so we'll give a good game. You will. I expect goals. I genuinely expect goals. I don't think Spurs are keeping a clean sheet. There you go. Bergvall and Archie has to start. Disappointing result when Sunday, especially as it was the last game I'm going to see. Saw my first game when I was around 11 years old. I'm now 85, but finding it quite hard to get to the stadium. It is not easy. It's you know, the trip from the tube stations as well is not easy. But, you know, I mean, to be going, Ivan, for 74 years is absolutely incredible. And you know, the key thing here is, Ivan, obviously, you've seen some amazing things. You know, you've seen some great things. You've seen some absolutely horrific things. And you've seen everything in between that. Let's just hope that when you can kick back at home or you go to the pub to watch the game, you can still enjoy it as much as you do when you go to the actual stadium itself, mate. Lucas, go away from the Spurs fans. This right here is only peaceful place in Spursverse. You still have time. We spent 50 mil on them and they get 10 minutes, players, subs. Crazy. Well, Rack, we've had 4 games, mate. We've had 4 games. All right. Let's just hold our horses. So look, moving into the predicted lineups for me. And obviously I think the keeper situation for me is actually quite an interesting one, because obviously last season in the Carabao Cup, Fraser Forster came in to play. Does Ange drop Vicario and bring one of the backups in? We talk about Bergvall and Archie Grays and these sort of guys. Do we want to see Brandon Austin, who got a 5-year deal? He's here for the long term. He is, in theory, been the backup keeper this season on the bench, things like that. I wouldn't mind seeing him personally. I wouldn't. Now, is it a risk? Sure, but you don't know what you have until you do it. You know, United fans were really hostile towards me and other Coventry fans after the match. I'm expecting Tottenham fans to be a lot better. As a lot of dodgy Spurs fans, mate, I won't lie. So don't think if there is any, nasty pieces of work, that's what the fan base is like. There's a very small minority that do that. The rest of the Spurs fan base, especially in this community, mate, are actually pretty normal, nice people. It's the minority of the fans that give us a bad name sometimes. And some Spurs fans have been giving us a bad name. I know, Andy, but at least start one of them. Oh, no, I'm coming to it. Which one of the 4 keepers? Such conundrum. Forster is coming back, imagine. Mental. If another goalie, then Gunter. I think Austin. I would play Austin. He played a lot of minutes in pre-season as well. It feels like it's the backup keeper. And for me, I bring him in. Ange can't risk Austin in this, I don't think. Well, it'd be interesting to see, Luke. Does he take the punt on it? If he takes a punt on it, he's got faith in him. If he doesn't, it's a bad sign. I think it's a bad sign. Late to the party, never late to the party, Sonia. It's always called fashionably on time, is it not? Your fans will be louder than United, though. We outsang United on their own song, and they barely sung. Cool. Here we go, Lucas. I say, well, that semi-final was a cracker, though. I watched it. It was an absolute cracker. Especially when we lost Derby, a big game. Oh, yeah, Rex, right. So, yeah, defense-wise, Dragusin's playing. I've got utter faith that Dragushin plays. I also have utter faith that Ben Davies will play. This is a kind of game that would suit a bit of a Ben Davies in terms of knowing English football better than anyone in our squads. So I had no issues with Ben Davies starting this game. Jed Spence, I expect to see as well. Again, Coventry City, championship side, lots of pace. Jed Spence was, when he was there permanently, or he was permanently, but he was on loan at Forest, was the best right back in the league. And he was brilliant. I think we see a bit of Jed Spence. Now, do they go with Pedro Porro at right back? Davies goes into centre half, and you put Spence out on the left? Or do they go, no, Spence stays out on the left. We're playing Davies. We're playing Dragusin. And Archie Gray's going to go play at right back. And there's a reason why I say that, and you'll see that in a minute. But what do you think? Do you think Porro start, or do you think maybe an Archie Gray goes into right back? What do we think? It'd be classic Ange if he was to use Austin. If else, I'm worried. One of our more dangerous players is Milan Van Erwick. Oh, I can't say that last name, but I'll get there. He's basically good at defense and can send players. Another one is Ellis Sims, who is a poacher. Midfield-wise, Ben Sheaf. Yeah, Ben Sheaf is a big name. I know that. And we were talking about, actually, Lucas, you might have missed it. We were talking about Ellis Sims right at the start of the video. I also mentioned Casey Palmer. That was another one. I watched a lot of the highlights. Casey Palmer was a problem. He was a problem. HC Spence relegated to playing left back. I want to see him at right back and Gray in centre mid. No, I wouldn't say it's a relegation. Hell, if I could play for Spurs every single week, but in different position, I'll do it. Don't put me in goal. I'm not very tall. Don't put me in goal. Put me everywhere else. Maybe not centre back. I'm not that tall, but I'm quite physical. So, maybe I could play centre back. He left on deadline day. I was looking at the last couple of games and I didn't see his name. Where did he go, Lucas? Where did he go? He looked like a player. Every player's performance is on a microscope at the moment. Griffin, that's not a bad shout. Griffin Sikoe. What a name. And I see you commanding the box better than Vicario, mate. Let me in there. You want some? Oof. Go on. I'll give a push better than Gabriel to Romero. I want to see Bergvall, Gray, Sarr in the midfield. He went to Hull. Ooh. It's not a big step up, though, is it? This is going to show my limited. It's not limited ball knowledge, but it shows my knowledge of the championship. Right, moving on then. So the reason why I say Gray at right back is there a situation where you come into midfield where they go, Bentancur's suspension technically is basically going to come in within the next, couple of weeks. Why don't we use him up now? Keep other players fit. Let Basuma come back with, 100% fitness and things like that. Play Bentancur. With, in the midfield, Pape and Bergvall. So Gray still plays. He gets his minutes in a position that he knows at right back. Bentancur at the 6. 8 would be Sarr. And Bergvall is, in theory, the 10, the Maddison role. I quite like that, personally. I do quite like that. I don't know what you guys think on that, but I'm liking the feeling. So obviously, I look, Brentford at the weekend. I'm expecting to see Maddison and Kulu, and if Biss is fit, Biss is being back as well. Put me a striker for £5. I'll run after every ball without stopping. Just need to get you an oxygen tank after 5 minutes, don't we, Teddy? Will Biss be fit? Doubt it. I don't always watch Tottenham, but one of your players I'm keeping an eye on is Sarr and Odebear. Yeah, well, Odebear obviously was technically a championship player for about 2 games this season. But yeah, Sarr I like a lot. It's one of those where we're so caught up on Bergvall and Archie Gray. They're the new young toys that we've got. And Mikey Moore and Will Lancashire, and Sarr was that just the season before. So I still rate Sarr very highly. Is he a little bit out of form? Maybe. Is there a fitness concern? Potentially. But the only way to get that is by playing. So I think he plays in midweek because he didn't play much against Arsenal. So I expect him to play in the midweek. Is Bentancur banned for European football? Do you know what? I don't know, actually. That's a hell of a question, Ted. Sarr flat see me, but he needs match fitness. Agreed. Odebear looked good yesterday. Well, for brief spells, yeah. But, when we come to the front 3, I think Solanke is going to start, or it's going to be Son up front. And for me, I would give Son the week off. Give him the game off. Let him recover. I'd put Solanke through the centre. Get on the score sheet. Build that confidence up. Because what I want to see is Solanke of last year. That comes into Spurs. That's a guy that's going to get easily 20 goals a season. I'd play Odebear. And I might even go with Johnson. Genuinely. Now, people got to say, what about Mikey Moore, Andy? On the bench, comes off the bench, features. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, does that what I want to happen is another question, another answer. But I think that's what happens. Mikey will definitely be on the bench, I think, for this week. I think Werner will be on the bench, and I think Mikey will be on the bench as the winger options. I think Son will be on the bench as a striker option. But that's the kind of vibe that I've gone for on the team. So I'm gonna go Austin in goal if he is going to rotate, but if not, it'd be Vic. I'm going to go Spence at left back, 2 centre halves of Davies, Dragoshin, and Archie Gray. I'm going to go in the midfield of Bentancur, of Sarr, and Bergvall, and then the front 3, Odebear, Solanke, and Jono. What do we think of that? If that team was to be played, let me know right now. If that team was to be played, would you be happy at that team? So just run through again. Let's say it's Vicario in goal, but Spence at left back, 2 centre halves of Davies, Dragoshin, and then right back of Archie Gray. Centre mids of number 6 of Bentancur, number 8 of Sarr, number 10 of Bergvall, left to right being Odebear, Solanke, and Johnson. What do we think? Yes, Solanke get him in games, get games in him. Yeah, I want to see the strongest team, start them and sub the babes only when we're assured of success. That's not bad a shout, Ivan. Is QPR a better team than Coventry? Well, I'm gonna let Lucas answer that one, Teddy. Odebear must start on the left. I hope he does. Regular to start. You get out of here, Luke. You're in a wind-up mode. You're in a wind-up mode. I'm not having it, Luke. See that vein popping in my head. I'm not having it. Green team of Coventry, fair enough. So Lucas reckons Forster and goal, Spence, Dragoshin, Davies, Regulon, Bergvall, Gray, Odebear, Johnson, Werner, and maybe more Lancashire. I would say you've probably got one too many winger/attackers and not another. You need another midfielder. So you got Gray and you've got Bergvall, but you would need another one in there because we normally play the 3 midfielders with 3 then attackers from left to right. Reguilon, I don't think will play though. No. So Lucas, right? Look, Lucas's team. This is. I mean, this is coming from a Coventry City fan. So Dovid in goal, Milan Van Erwick at right back, Bobby Thomas, Lewis Binks, Jake Bidwell, Ben Sheaf, Victor Torp, Brandon Thomas Asante, Jack Rodoni, Hadji Wright, Ellis Sims. Yeah, that probably sounds about right. I'd quite like that Ellis Sims. Proper finisher, him. Proper finisher. Is Lancashire fit? I don't think so, Robert. That team would be okay. All right, good. Good. That team would be okay. Right, well, for me, and obviously, if you know, key battle is my favorite thing. Whenever I do my previews, I always look at key battles in games. And, you know, is it, and by the way, get your key battles in. So the key battle is it a midfielder battle? Is it a midfielder from Coventry and a midfielder from Spurs? You know, is it a Ben Sheaf and Bentancur situation? Is it an attacker, Ellis Sims and Radu Dragusin? Is it that kind of vibe? You know, what is it for you that you think is the big battle of the game? Get yours in. I want to know what you're thinking. When he's on his leadership this Wednesday, Son versus Sakamoto. Midfielder Gray, Sarr, Bergvall would suit me with Spence right back, Davies left back. So you're going to go with Dragusin and Romero, or maybe not Romero, maybe Van der Ven at centre half then. Interesting. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Austin, Porro, Dragusin, Romero, Spence, Bentancur, Sarr, Kulu, Son, Solanke, Odebert. I don't want to be like that, but I have a feeling it'll be like that. Well, look, if you're going into a game with a team as strong as that, you'd have to go in with a little bit more confidence than would with my team, you know? Or just let him take play left back as he still needs fitness minutes. Yeah, I don't want to overdo it, though. I don't want to overdo it. Van Erwick versus Spence, Son versus Sakamoto, Werner versus Sims. Right. Interesting. Odegaard and Bergvall shine. Enter the Dragon. Mikey more minutes? I hope so. Key thing. Luke says it. Mikey more minutes. I bloody hope so. For me, when I was looking at it, when I look at my team, I look at the Coventry City team, and I kind of weigh it up where I think where a key battle will be. For me, their fullbacks, obviously our wingers will be a key thing. It will be. That's where a lot of our best attacking, if we're fit, firing and ready to go, our wingers are normally the reason because of it. For me, though, I'm actually going to go a different route. And I normally go like winger or defender sort of vibe. I'm actually going to go a different route. And the reason I go with that is I don't see Spurs having an issue in terms of having possession and things like that. I'm going to say it's the number 9. I say it's going to be Solanke versus, in theory, 2 centre-halves, but obviously that may be a little different. But I think it will be Solanke. That will be the key situation for me, is Solanke playing, getting on the score sheet, and that's what I think. That will be my key battle. The Sky Blue Hub. Oh, is that another Coventry City fan in here? Spurs losing on Wednesday, just like 1987. Glenn, don't you be coming in here with your history knowledge, right? There's not enough history knowledge in the world of football, so don't you be doing things like that. Don't be a good outlier to the rest of the world. You need to be in the now and reactionary and over the top like all Spurs fans apparently. Welcome though, Glenn. Welcome. Would like Vic, Spence, Van der Ven, Dragu, Davies, Gray, Bergvall, Kulu, Odegaard, Solanke, Johnson. Wanted to be like, well, do you know what, mate? I don't hate that. Solanke plays well versus Coventry in the past. Well, I assume Maddison will be on the bench. I don't think he'll start, but I think Maddison will be on the bench because, again, the whole Maddison Coventry link that'll be there, and he will probably want to play in that. From my team, Robert, the captain will be Ben Davies because Maddison wouldn't have started, and Romero wouldn't have started, and they're the vice captain, so it would be Ben Davies, which I have no issues with, by the way. I want to see Sonny, Solanke, Odegaard, and Bergvall working together in this game. Well, not a bad shout, James. Not a bad shout. In all seriousness, will Spurs go strong on Wednesday? Good question, Glenn. For me, I sort of said I think you'll see some players that started against Arsenal yesterday, but I think you will see players like Archie Gray coming in. Obviously, you know Archie Gray from last season in the Championship, Glenn. You'll also see Lucas Bergvall, the Swedish guy, come in, the youngster who does not look his age in terms of playability. I think you'll see Radu Dragusin come in, the centre half from Romania. I think you'll see Jed Spence feature. Obviously, former Borough / Forest boy. I think Wilson Odebell start, obviously Burnley boy. So I think there's a lot of guys that you would know from the Championship that I think will be playing in this game. I think you'll still see though a few proper first teamers. I think Bentancur might start because obviously the ban may be coming up soon. So I think he may start. Pape Matar. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to go for. Still think about it says game. Best chance to get 3 points of Arsenal. Wreck, mate. Try not to look back now. Let's look forward. We've got a big game coming up. Davies captain is a good shout if he starts. We go strong or we go home. Oh God, completely forgot. Davies will probably be playing. Feels sick now. Well, Luke, you came in here. You got my vein popping out of my head. Where is it? It's here. That vein popping out of my head. You deserve that. I hope you feel rubbish. That's right, Ted. Evening, Gods, mate. How are you? The Sky Blue Annie wants to say we lose by 1-0 or win 4-1. I'm coming to my score line now. Here we go. Let's jump in. Score predictions. Get him in for the game. And obviously, it could be good, bad, or ugly. It could be Spurs winning 27-0. It could be Spurs losing 27-0 and something in between. You get him in. I don't mind what you say. For me, both teams are going to score. Both teams are going to score. The pace power that Coventry City have, I think, is something you've got to pay attention to. I think I could go out on a limb here. I think Dragic might get a goal. And the reason I say that is because of set pieces, and he is an absolute monster in the air. And I think set pieces, especially from the second phase, I think Dragic may got on the score sheet. But I think Ellis Sims is going to score for Coventry. Do you know what? Because it's really annoying. I'm going to be flying whilst the game's happening. I'm going off to Spain, so I'm going to be flying when the game's happening. I think my flight takes off. Wait, what time's kickoff? 8 o'clock. I'll be if you know what it's like with flying nowadays. It's never on bloody time. If it is on time, I'll be 20 minutes in the air, so I'll miss the game completely. If I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs, I'll go 2-1 Spurs. I don't think it's going to be a comfortable game. I don't think either team are going to be. I think Spurs will obviously have more possession. That's what we do with everyone. We have more possession than every team that we ever play against, City included, which is bonkers to say. I think Spurs go 1-0. It goes 1-0. And then I think Spurs maybe get one in sort of the 60th, 70th minute region. I think 1-0 at half-time is my guess. Team must start building chemistry ASAP. Getting the combination right is crucial. Hang on, I missed a few. Hang on. Oh, 8-0, James. Fair enough. Coventry nick it 2-1. Oh, Glenn, you terrible person. Spurs 3-0. 5-1 Spurs. All right, Luke. Bloody hell. Bloody hell, mate. 2-all. You boys reckon, Lucas, you'll win on pens? I hate pens. I absolutely hate pens with a passion. Even watching them as a neutral, I hate pens. There's something about it. Ooh, gives me the heebie-jeebies. Purely based on Spurs' average away form, especially when the opposition score against them. Sometimes, Glenn. The other thing I would say is once a team scores against us, we normally go up a gear or two. I don't know why it happens, but last season, whenever we went 1-0 down, we went up a gear. Coventry's a good side. 3-1 Spurs. I want to say we get a W. I would take a 1-0, but really want more. 8. Bloody hell. 8. If Spurs hit their prime 4-1, getting scored on by Championship side is not what you need right now. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not bothered about getting scored on. I'm not bothered. Absolutely not bothered by it. I know Coventry haven't been prolific goal scorers this season, only scoring 5 goals in 5 games in the league. Obviously, I know there's cup games involved as well. But yeah, I just think I could see both teams getting a goal from like a wicked deflection from a set piece or something. I can absolutely see it. Relax. Spurs win 2-1 or lose a game. Spurs 3-1 with Spurs opening at 23 minutes. Oh, this is damn precise. Here we go. Coventry around 35 minutes of the equaliser. Spurs get 2 after 80 minutes. So you reckon it's going to be nip and tuck until the end. Interesting. Spurs win 2-0. For Coventry, it's all about performance, and a result is a bonus as we need a win on Saturday for Swansea. Yeah, I think that's where maybe Coventry may have their eyes towards is that game, you know. I'll be interested to see if they go in with, you know, Sims playing as well, playing some of the bigger names, or do they go, we want to take a fight, we want to take a stab at this, but Swansea at the weekends is the main game, and I can see that. I can see a rotation for both teams massively. Coventry's capable of winning this game, absolutely. They need to score in the last 15 minutes. Well, yes, I mean, to make it nip and tuck for sure. Spurs win 2-0. Favourite random ex-Coventry City player, Yusuf Chippo. All right, Luke, here we go. Yusuf Chippo. Coventry will be full big and... Oh, well, okay. All right, well, we'll have to wait and see then. We'll have to wait and see. Robbins normally gets us score against Premier League sides when we play them. We rarely get hammered. We finish games well, usually, so late drama is quite possible. Yeah, I think 2-1. I think Spurs will have to hold on maybe at the end. I think for large chunks of the game, I think Spurs will be on the ball a lot. Like I said, it's not even a dig at Coventry City. We are always on the ball against every team we play. We're 65% possession against Arsenal. So it's not. We went to the Emirates, we went to the Etihad and more possession than City. It's what we do. So I think Spurs will have sort of 65% possession. I just think Coventry will press from time to time. I don't think they're going to press high every minute of the game. I think they'll press high here and there. They'll pick and choose when to go, but when they go, they'll all go. So there you go. There's my nugget for you. Try Gordon Strachan, Celtic legends. Celtic legend. Fan of random Spurs player. Paul McVeigh missed a great chance that was sent Coventry down versus Spurs in our great escape. That's why you like him, because he flopped for Spurs in that game. Didn't Coventry give Man United a scare last year? They did indeed, Sonia, in the FA Cup semi-final, and they would have won if it wasn't for about this much offside. It's a cruel world, unfortunately, in football. It's a cruel world. Things that you deserve, you don't get given. But hey, that's football for you, isn't it? But yeah, that's what we're going to go for. 2-1. I'll be interested to see how the game goes. I'll be watching the highlights back. Obviously, I'll land and I'll check the scoreline and I'll throw my phone at my friend Luke. Obviously, he does the stuff with me on the channel. I'll be throwing it at him going, bloody told you we're rubbish. No, I won't. I hope we win. Obviously, tomorrow morning with loan roundup of all the boys out on loan. Thursday will be the preview for the Brentford game. I'll try and talk about the Coventry game within that, but I'll only be really watching the highlights, so I don't truly know what would have happened. So I'll be relying on you to come in and drop some knowledge on me. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. Lucas and Glenn, absolute legends, Coventry City fans, absolute legends. Thank you so much for coming in and actually giving some good content and good comments. It's nice when you can speak to rival fans and go, do you know what? They actually contributed in a good way. So thank you so much, gents, for coming in and contributing. Absolute legends. I hope you don't win, obviously, as you hope we don't win. But thanks so much. Obviously, come back and join the channel and come in and chat some more rubbish with us as well. You're always more than welcome to. You're a good guy. This is a good channel. Honestly, thanks for welcoming in here. You're more than welcome, Lucas. But yeah, great channel, great community. And there's plenty more to come. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. Enjoy the rest of your mornings or afternoons, wherever you are watching this in the world. And I'll see you all a little bit later tomorrow morning. Speak some more Spurs. Enjoy the rest of yourselves. I'll see you all then. Peace.